Jaylen Brown just got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. And there is no other way to put it than that this is one of the most horrendous trades and unnecessary trades in not just the history of the NBA, but in all of professional sports. And listen, before we go any further into this one, leave a like, subscribe, and if you think this is an absolutely horrible trade for the Celtics as well, make sure to hype up the video and leave one of those likes while you are at it. And so now, when it comes to this move, this is one of those trades that I have to say, I haven't felt like this looking at my screen since the Luka trade. The fact that this is real and that for a guy who was in the top 10 of MVP voting, the Celtics couldn't find any better deals for him and may have ended up trading him for Paul George, who was about as washed up as ever. And I mean, let's face it, this is a glorified salary dump. I mean, this is baffling. This is disgusting, especially when you consider that all Boston had to do was throw in a couple of their picks and Hugo Gonzalez and Shireman along with Jaylen Brown, and they would have had Giannis Antetokounmpo. And now this same framework is pretty much turned into Paul George. I mean, you would have just went from having arguably the best roster in the league to being out of the conversation. If you're a Celtics fan, you have to be so sad. You literally have lost Jaylen Brown for pretty much next to nothing. And considering the state of the Celtics, I mean, after all, they were the 2024 NBA champions. We don't have the largest sample size, but Tatum looked pretty good. And they were literally projected up until this deal to be the favorites to come out of the East still over New York, Miami, Toronto, and the rest of the conference. This is genuinely unreal, and you almost wonder or hope out of delusion that there is another move coming, or if Boston has something else up their sleeve, because there's no way Brad Stevens' front office is this incompetent, right? And if they are, we're going to look back on this years from now and see how the Celtics' own impulse, but also stubbornness to get rid of relatively insignificant players in packages like the Antetokounmpo one, how it just completely shut out their window or closed it for a very long time at the least. Until they can figure things out or get a second star, just a better rounded team, you're not competing with New York, you're not competing with Toronto, you're not competing with half of the other teams right now, because this trade is just horrendous. And for the 76ers, this is an incredible steal. I mean, you gave up one of the biggest negative assets in the league and some draft capital, which we really don't even know the value of anymore with the way the rules are changing. And you got who is going to be the best and most consistent player on your team, one of the most reliable players you could have. And now you're going to have Embiid, Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jaylen Brown on the same court. That's very exciting, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that team ends up working out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I guess on that side of things, if you're rooting for Philadelphia, you got an absolute steal. If you're rooting for the Celtics' downfall, this is incredible. But if you're just looking at this from the basketball perspective, the Celtics really gave away a guy who has been a consistent winner, a consistent floor raiser, a guy who has literally done every single thing that he has asked. And whenever he has been in trade talks in the past, this has happened multiple times. He's never complained. He's continued to show up and do his job. When he had to come off the bench, he came off the bench. When he got promoted to being a starter and being one of the focal points of the offense, he excelled. The guy is the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP of your 2024 title run. And this season, he literally made you guys the favorites to come out of the East again, despite how the playoffs went. And so for the fact that you just gave him away for pretty much, again, a glorified salary dump, this is maybe the most pathetic move in the history of the NBA. And at this point, and from here on out, while it may be a great time to be a Sixers fan, the Boston Celtics are in deep trouble. And after giving up Jaylen Brown for next to nothing, not just is their window shut, but for everybody who is involved in this, and unless they can find a way to be successful, this is going to be looked at as one of the most unnecessary fall-offs, one of the most unnecessary trades, and one of the most unnecessary chapter ends to what was otherwise one of the greatest duos that we have seen, at least of the era and at least of the century. So now with all that said, just let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this Jaylen Brown trade? What would you grade it for both sides? I'm giving it an A+ for Philly and an F for Boston. And if you made it to this point in the video, let me know whatever else you think about this, and be sure to leave a like, hype up the video, and subscribe while you're at it. And now listen, if you want to see how earlier we got some major news on LeBron, and that's starting to really show and forecast where he could be going very soon from now, well, you're not going to want to miss this one, so check out the suggested video on your end screen right now.